Fuck! Oh. Greetings, friends and enemies alike. I got a lot of really good feedback on the video I did talking about my experience as an after-school assistant, which, if you haven't seen, what are you waiting for? Go watch it. After you finish this video, of course. But, you know, I figured I would do another video in the same style. But this time, I'm not bringing you one story, not two, not three. Do you know what comes next? It's no secret that I have worked in the past as a camp counselor. It's something I'm very passionate about. So I figured, why not share some stories from that? So these are some of my fondest memories from my time working as a camp counselor. I hope you enjoy. Our first story takes place at the beginning of last summer, when a simple gift exchange turned our humble summer camp into an international war zone. Please don't click off the video, let me explain. Now, something that's important to understand about the camps I work at is every week has a different theme to it. The activities of each week will relate to the theme. So, during Superhero Week, we might have a dress-up day. During Mystery Week, there's an ongoing mystery for the campers to solve. You get the idea. The theme of week 2 for camp was holidays. So every single day of the week was a different holiday. On Monday we had Independence Day, on Tuesday we had Halloween, on Wednesday we had International Macaroni Day. What? But Thursday is the important day. Thursday was Christmas, the creme de la creme. The general vibe that day was jolly and cheerful. We rented out a Santa costume and my friend Dan dressed up as Santa Claus, although we did change his name to Danta Claus, just, you know, Santa, Dan, okay, well, anyways. Behind the scenes though, unbeknownst to the kids, all the staff was doing their own Secret Santa. You guys all know how Secret Santa works, of course. Everyone gets a different name, you have to get a gift for them. We had a spending limit of $5. I got a slide whistle, that was pretty fucking dope. But my friend Andrew might have gotten the best gift of all. Andrew got 2 tiny little squirt pistols. Andrew kept those bad boys on him at all times, and let me tell you, he got his money's worth out of them. Everyone at camp spent the remainder of the day getting spritzed on the back of the neck by Andrew, and while it was mostly Abby who was working directly with him, Andrew definitely tormented a lot of people that day, I'm not gonna lie. That's when funding for the war began. I remember it clear as day. The screams of air raid sirens, the cries of children, the soft trickle of a faucet filling up a squirt gun. Nowhere was safe, and nobody could be trusted. We were literally making group outings in our free time to Target, Walmart, your local dollar store, wherever had a squirt gun. I mean, in a week's time after Andrew received his gift, everyone at camp had a squirt gun on them at all times. As you can probably guess, war broke out pretty soon after that. You always had to have an eye on your 6, or you were going to lunch with a drenched shirt, or you were getting on the bus, and that's arguably worse. The kids did get a kick out of it though. If we had a bit of free time, we would chase them around, squirt them a bit, you know, just try to cool them off after a hot day. A big problem arose after a short amount of time, however, when kids started bringing their own squirt guns from home. Now, when this war first began, it was very much just Hunger Games style. No real alliances forming, everyone for themselves. Until one day when someone who will not be named said that the kids could bring their squirt guns from home. Again, not naming them. The difference was, these kids rallied together. I mean, they formed a small militia. It was at this point that the counselors decided we should form an alliance and form a small covert ops squad to strike at the heart of the children and end this conflict. We just told their parents they couldn't bring them anymore. It's surprisingly efficient, just a little anticlimactic. We all set aside our differences, buried the hatchet, and the war came to an end. Finally, there was peace at camp. For now. At the very end of the summer, we had a scorcher of a day. It was so hot out. Our lovely director, Colleen, brought in just so many water balloons. We began with relay races, water balloon tosses, all the classics. Absolute bangers of activities, but everyone started getting a little impatient and we just had an awesome water balloon fight. I don't think anyone went home dry that day. I got a whole bucket of water dumped on my shoe that day. That was awesome. That took like a week to dry. Speaking realistically for a second, out of character, this is honestly one of the best ideas we've had. We had a lot of really hot days that summer, and having a water gun on standby just to cool yourself off real quick was incredibly handy and helpful. So 10 out of 10, would dine here again. Let's move on to the next story. Our next story takes place in the middle of August of last summer, right at the end of Disney Week. Now, it's no secret that me and Andrew are kind of massive Star Wars nerds. I mean, here's a video of us beating each other up with lightsabers in the middle of the night. Yeah, we're dedicated. Call us George Lucas, we'll write the next movie. So, when Disney Week was upon us, we may or may not have hijacked it into just being Star Wars Week. I can neither confirm or deny, of course, but you know. Anyways, Fridays are kind of a big deal at camp. We call it Fun Friday, and we always have a really special activity planned for the kids. In the past, this has ranged from anything from a slip and slide to a scavenger hunt or anything in between, really. But for Disney Week, we had something really special and creative planned. Andrew and his campers, who are the counselor and training group, the oldest kids at the camp, wrote out a whole script and planned an entire skit taking place on Friday, where camp was taken over by the Sith. So admittedly, this part is going to get a little confusing, but I'm going to do my best to explain, I promise. Prior to that Friday, all staff members were assigned to be either a Jedi or a Sith. If you were a regular counselor who stuck with a group all the time and didn't really do anything besides that, you were a Jedi. If you were a specialist, which means that you worked the rock wall, archery, or you were a lifeguard at the pool and pond, then you were a Sith. The idea of the day was that the counselors who were Jedi would have to fight the Sith at their specialist activities to gain access to those activities. For example, I was a rock wall counselor. So if Andrew's group came to the rock wall, Andrew would have to defeat me in a duel to gain access to the rock wall for his campers. Pretty simple, I think. Friday finally hit us, and I stuffed every single lightsaber I had in my house into my backpack, and we headed off to camp. Every morning before our day starts, everyone gathers at the front of camp, and we sing some camp songs, we go through some announcements, and we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I was chosen to be the leader of the Sith, so to start the day off, I walked up to the front of camp while no one was watching. Andrew pretended like he was getting force choked, threw him to the side. I step up to where he was standing, and I proudly announce the camp has been taken over by the Sith. Side note, as I approached everyone in front of camp, I yelled, "Silence, rebel scum." And right after that, my boss told me that this is the only appropriate context to call kids scum. So if you're ever in a job interview for a camp job, you can tell them that you know the appropriate context for scum. I made my announcement, I marched away, and the camp day began. Every time a group came to the rock wall, I would have a little lightsaber battle with their counselor. We'd play it up for dramatic effect. I would lose, obviously, and then they would climb the rock wall. All in all, a really great day. Everyone had a ton of fun that day, but I don't think anyone had more fun than me and Andrew. That day, we got to live out one of our most childlike fantasies and create a really compelling story all at the same time. Every now and again, I look back through photos from that day, and they always get a smile out of me. I mean, that day was just such a good vibe. Again, George Lucas, if you want to hire me. My final week of camp had the theme of lights, camera, action tied to it. We were initially planning to have our talent show this week, but since most of the counselors had left for college by that point, we decided to make our own frickin' movie at camp. Hell yeah. Now, we did a small amount of brainstorming before Lights, Camera, Action week, but nowhere near enough. We ended up writing the script over Monday and Tuesday of that week, and what we ended up with was a mockumentary script almost similar in style to The Office. That's what I was kind of basing it off of, at least. The next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, were solely set for filming. And what started as a fun film to make with some friends at work very quickly turned into one of the most stressful work weeks of my life. As I previously mentioned, pretty much all the counselors from that summer had already left for college, so at the time we were already understaffed. Now, you've got me pulling counselors out of groups, away from their kids, to go film a dumb little movie, leaving counselors with a lot of kids. It was not a good time. It was not a good time. I need to give another massive shout out to Albie because I was paired to work with her that week, and I abandoned her 2 out of 5 days to film random shit. So she is a trooper for putting up with that, so big shout out to Abby. I remember that Thursday especially vividly. By the time we reached the end of the day, around 3 p.m., we were so burnt out that we were just sitting at the front of camp, not even speaking to each other, me, Justin, and Abby. Our boss kind of walked up to the porch we were sitting on, looked at us for a few seconds, and then asked if someone died because of how dismal we looked. One of the things I took inspiration from The Office was the interview segments they have, where they cut away from whatever's happening and they have an interview with someone. And on Thursday, we ran out of time and we couldn't record any of Abby's interview segments. So I had to improvise.
Hi, I'm Abby.
I don't know, I think I played the character well. Now I can't show you the whole video because it does have campers in it, and that's a whole legal thing with photo release forms and a whole bunch of other crap, but I can show you a few of my favorite clips that don't have campers in them. So, prepare to have your socks knocked off.
Hey, you the new guy?
Yes, I am.
I'm Dalton.
Dan, good to meet you.
Welcome to
Thank you, sir.
I'm Summer, and we've been best friends for like ever. I hate her. I hate her so much.
How do I like camp so far? That's good, I guess. That Dalton guy is a weirdo. Is he always like this?
This has gotten way out of hand. This competition ends now.
No.
Now get back to work.
Heard.
Get out. Get back to work.
Get back to work.
I think it's really cool that I'm training the people who are going to replace me someday.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. The people that we're remembering today are some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life.
Everyone just went to college. There's no death, there's no tragedy happening here. Dalton is taking it a little hard.
Despite all the stress this movie put us in, I'm honestly so happy with how it turned out. I'm a media production student, I'm almost done with my degree, and this was one of the first opportunities I've had to direct my own film and watch the whole production come together, and it was all really satisfying. Just another one of my fondest memories. Got one more for you. Now, I want to end the video with this story because it's without a doubt my fondest camp memory of the past 3 years I've been working camp. For all 3 of those years, my friend Dan and I have had a tradition of putting on a talent show every year. It started just one year as a thing we tried out and we really liked it, so we kept doing it no matter what camp we're at. This past summer was no exception, of course. But a big reason that this talent show was so special is the timing of it. The talent show took place during week 8, which was the very last week that a lot of people were working before they went back to college. And we decided to have a talent show as a final send-off to everyone. There was a very bittersweet feeling in the air that Friday. A few of us got there really early just to have some coffee, enjoy each other's company, and soak in the summer air one last time. Slowly, the buses rolled in, and Andrew, who plays the trumpet, and myself, who plays the trombone, we just started jamming on the front porch. I mean, Andrew had sheet music for like Never Gonna Give You Up, All Star, and just a bunch of other meme songs, and the kids really got a kick out of it, and so did we. On top of that, all the counselors had a potluck during our lunch break. I mean, everyone brought in food. Everyone brought in food. There was a comical amount of food in that break room, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's still some there to this day. I hope not, but you know. Andrew even brought in a mini grill and was making hot dogs, hamburgers for all the staff, which was really, really kind of him. The day carried on as usual, and in the late afternoon, our talent show began. And if there's one thing that camp has taught me and continues to teach me, it's that kids are really amazing. I mean, there were so many talented people at this camp, from singers to musicians, and even the youngest group, the first and second graders, put on an entire skit for the camp. I mean, it was insane. We had Dan, Abby, and Justin as a panel of judges, and even though they were there to just give everyone a good score, they really brought something to it. They even gave one girl a golden buzzer after she pretty flawlessly sang Long Live by Taylor Swift. But the crown jewel of the talent show, the anomaly, if you will, was a 5th grade boy who wanted to do some stand-up comedy. I didn't know that he wanted to do the talent show until the day of, 5 minutes before he went on. We didn't really have time to screen his comedy, so we just said, sure, go for it. That was a big mistake. He recited a joke about bowling from the comedian Jim Gaffigan, which I'd like to read you an excerpt from now, just to give you an idea of what this kid said to other kids. Because for most of us, bowling is the activity you do after you've done everything else. It's like, well, we could go bowling. We could hang ourselves. A 5th grader said this verbatim to an entire summer camp, ranging from kids of 1st grade to high school. Harsh lesson for us in screening content. We even had some counselors pitch in to do talents, which was just so awesome to see. Colleen did some hula hooping with a camper. Myself, Andrew, and our friend Summer played the Wellerman on our instruments, and my good friend Jillian burped. With that, the talent show came to a close and the emotions really started to set in on everyone. There were definitely lots of tears and lots of hugs, but we knew we couldn't end it on a sad, sappy note like that. So we all went home, we freshened up, and we went out to dinner together. We got some wings. And after that, we went back to my place, we had a bonfire. Once again, there was a bittersweet feeling in the air as we all sat around the fire, but it felt more sweet than bitter. Sad that it was ending, but happy that it happened in the first place. These were far from easy goodbyes. I mean, it had only been 8 weeks since camp had started, but everyone on the staff had just gotten so close to one another. That's not selling it short. I mean, we were family. There's no other way to put it. Slowly, everyone filed out. We had some very nice goodbyes, and it was a good way to end the summer. The next morning, I actually had to travel quite a distance for job training. To that point, I hadn't cried yet. I was sad, obviously, but I just hadn't gotten to the point of crying. But on my way to job training, 6 a.m. in the Tim Hortons drive-thru, I just started bawling like a fucking child. I guess it just didn't really hit me till then that I wasn't gonna see most of those people for months on end. But as it always has, life went on. I've seen a lot of them since camp ended. I still keep in touch with a lot of them on a daily or weekly basis, and we're still great friends, and I really hope I can go back this summer. If you ever get the chance to work at a summer camp, I cannot recommend it enough. It's an incredibly rewarding experience, and you could find a whole new family there. I mean, these are some of the fondest memories I've ever had in my life because of so many influential people. And I would never trade those memories for the world.